chosen one, what I'm about to reveal to you is going to completely transform how you see the last 3 months of your life. Those challenges you faced, they weren't random. Those difficult people who showed up, they weren't coincidences. Those impossible situations you navigated, they weren't just bad luck. God was testing you specifically, strategically, and in disguise. And here's the breakthrough revelation. You passed every single test. Not most of them, not some of them, every single one. Heaven has been running a comprehensive evaluation on you for the past 3 months, and you didn't even know it. These weren't the obvious tests that you recognized and prepared for. These were disguised tests that looked like ordinary circumstances, random encounters, and normal life challenges. But they were actually divine examinations designed to assess whether you're ready for the next level. God is about to release you into. Think about the past 3 months. Really think about them. You've dealt with difficult people who pushed every button you have. You've faced financial pressures that tested your trust. You've encountered betrayals that challenged your ability to forgive. You've navigated situations where doing the wrong thing would have been easier than doing the right thing. You've been tempted to compromise, to give up, to react in the flesh, to abandon your integrity. And every single one of those moments was a test. God sent angels in disguise, sometimes disguised as enemies, sometimes as opportunities to compromise, sometimes as delays that tested your patience, sometimes as disappointments that tested your faith. He orchestrated circumstances that revealed what's really in your heart when pressure is applied. He allowed situations that exposed whether your commitment to Him is real or just religious performance. And you passed. You made choices that proved you're ready for what He's prepared. Let me explain how divine testing works. When God is about to elevate someone, promote them, or release them into greater assignment, He first tests them in disguise to ensure they can handle the elevation without being destroyed by it. He tests their character when no one is watching. He tests their integrity when compromise seems easier. He tests their faithfulness when circumstances suggest they should quit. He tests their obedience when the instructions don't make logical sense. These tests are never announced. God doesn't send you a notification saying, "This is a test." The tests come disguised as normal life, as difficult people, challenging circumstances, unexpected setbacks, and pressure-filled situations. And that's precisely what makes them effective. When you don't know you're being tested, your responses reveal your true character, not a performance you put on to look good. The reason I know you've been tested for the last 3 months, specifically, is because 3 is a significant number in Scripture. It represents divine completion, resurrection, and the manifestation of God's will. Jesus was in the tomb for 3 days before resurrection. The Hebrew children were in the furnace for a complete testing period. 3 months is a divine time frame that God uses to thoroughly test, prove, and prepare His chosen ones before major breakthroughs. During these 3 months, you were being evaluated on multiple levels simultaneously. God was testing your heart whether you'd maintain love when treated with hate. He was testing your mouth whether you'd speak life or speak death in frustration. He was testing your faith whether you'd believe Him when circumstances contradicted His promises. He was testing your character whether you'd maintain integrity when cutting corners seemed profitable. He was testing your obedience whether you'd follow His leading even when it didn't make sense. And here's what makes this so powerful. You passed tests you didn't even know you were taking. You responded correctly in moments that felt like ordinary challenges but were actually divine examinations. You made choices that proved your readiness for promotion. You maintained your integrity when you could have compromised. You showed mercy when revenge was available. You stayed faithful when quitting would have been justified. And heaven took note of every single response. Right now, there's a report in heaven about you. It's a comprehensive evaluation of the last 3 months. And the verdict is clear. Passed every test, every examination, every evaluation. You didn't just barely pass, you passed with distinction. You demonstrated that you can be trusted with more because you were faithful with less. You proved you can handle promotion because you maintained character in pressure. You showed you're ready for increase because you did struggle with grace. But passing these tests isn't just about what you get, it's about who you've become. The tests transformed you. They refined you. They removed impurities that would have hindered your next level. They developed spiritual muscles you didn't have before. They deepened your dependence on God. They matured your character. They strengthened your faith. And now, you're not the same person who entered this testing season 3 months ago. You're stronger, wiser, more grounded, and more qualified for what's coming. As we move forward through this message, I'm going to reveal the specific tests you passed, what each test qualified you for, why the disguise was necessary, and what's about to be released now that you've proven yourself faithful. But first, you need to let this truth settle deep in your spirit. You passed. Heaven evaluated you thoroughly, and you came through approved, proven, and qualified. The testing season is over. The results are in, and your promotion is being released right. Now let me reveal the 7 specific disguise tests you encountered over the last 3 months. As I describe each one, you're going to recognize the exact moments, people, and situations that were actually divine examinations. And you're going to see that what you thought was just life happening was actually God strategically testing you. Asterisk test 1. The difficult people who tested your love and patience. Asterisk. The first disguise test came through difficult people who showed up in your life specifically to test your ability to love the unlovable and maintain patience under provocation. These were people who were rude, disrespectful, ungrateful, or antagonistic. They pushed your buttons. They tried your patience. They triggered your anger. They tested your ability to respond with grace instead of reacting in the flesh. God sent these people or allowed them in your path to see if you've truly developed Christ-like character. Anyone can be kind to kind people. But can you maintain love towards someone who's hateful? Can you show patience with someone who's testing it deliberately? Can you respond with grace to someone who deserves judgment? You passed this test when you chose kindness over retaliation, showed patience when provoked, responded with grace instead of giving them what they deserved, maintained your peace instead of being pulled into their chaos, prayed for them instead of cursing them. This test proved that your love isn't conditional. Your patience isn't just tolerance, and your character is real, not performed. Asterisk test TWO. The financial pressure that tested your trust and generosity. Asterisk. The second disguise test came through financial pressure that tested whether you truly trust God as your source and whether your generosity survives your own need. You faced unexpected expenses, delayed provision, or opportunities that required financial faith. And in the midst of your own struggle, you were also presented with opportunities to give, to help someone else, or to sow seed. God was watching to see if you'd panic or pray, if you'd hoard or continue to give, if you'd trust Him or trust your bank account. This test revealed whether your theology about God as provider is real or just theory. You passed this test when you continued to give even when you had little, maintained your trust in God despite delayed provision, refused to compromise your integrity for quick money, made financial decisions based on faith, not fear, kept believing God would provide even when you couldn't. See how this test proved that your faith in God's provision is genuine and that you can be trusted with greater financial blessing because you were faithful in lack. Test 3. The betrayal that tested your ability to forgive. The third disguise test came through betrayal, someone close to you who hurt you, disappointed you, or violated your trust. This person might have been a friend, a family member, a ministry partner, or someone you helped who turned against you. The pain was real. The hurt went deep. And God was watching to see if you'd hold on to offense or release it through forgiveness. This test wasn't about whether the person deserved forgiveness. It was about whether you're mature enough to forgive anyway. Forgiveness isn't for the offender. It's for you. And your ability to forgive when it's hard proves you're ready for assignments that will require even more grace. You passed this test when you chose to forgive even though the hurt was deep. Released the person to God instead of seeking revenge. Refused to gossip about or slander the one who hurt you. Maintained your integrity even when they lost theirs. Prayed for their blessing instead of their punishment. This test proved that you've matured beyond petty grudges and that you carry the character necessary for greater influence. Test 4. The temptation to compromise that tested your integrity. The fourth disguise test came through opportunities to compromise. Situations where doing the wrong thing would have been profitable, beneficial, or easier than doing the right thing. These were moments when cutting corners seemed justified, when lying would have solved a problem, when compromising your values would have advanced your agenda, when nobody would have known if you'd bent the rules. God was testing whether your integrity is real or situational. Do you do right only when someone's watching, or do you maintain righteousness even in secret? You passed this test when you chose honesty even when lying would have benefited you. Maintained your values even when compromise seemed profitable. Did right even when no one was watching. Rejected shortcuts that required integrity violations. Honored God's standards even when cultural standards said it didn't matter. This test proved that your character is solid. Your integrity is genuine. And you can be trusted with authority because you won't abuse it. Test 5. The delay that tested your patience and perseverance. The fifth disguise test came through delays, promises that seemed to take forever, breakthroughs that felt overdue, doors that stayed closed longer than expected, provision that didn't come when you thought it should. These delays tested your patience, your perseverance, and your ability to keep believing when the timeline exceeds your expectations. God was watching to see if you'd quit when things took longer than expected, or if you'd remain faithful in the waiting. This test revealed whether your commitment is real or dependent on immediate gratification. You passed this test when you kept believing even when the promise delayed, maintained your faithfulness during the wait, refused to quit even when breakthrough seemed overdue, continued obeying even when results weren't immediate, trusted God's timing instead of demanding. Your own this test proved that you have the endurance necessary for long-term assignments, and that you won't abandon your calling when results don't come instantly. Test 6. The isolation that tested your dependence on God, asterisk, asterisk. The sixth disguise test came through isolation, a season where people pulled away, support systems dissolved, and you felt alone in your journey. Friends were busy. Family didn't understand. Your support network seemed to disappear, and you were left with just you and God. This wasn't rejection, it was divine separation, designed to test whether your relationship with God is genuine or dependent on other people's presence. God was testing whether you'd seek Him in loneliness or seek validation from people. You passed this test when you drew closer to God instead of growing bitter, deepened your prayer life in the isolation, worshipped even when you were alone, found your identity in God, not in people's presence, used the isolation to strengthen your foundation. This test proved that your relationship with God is real, not dependent on community affirmation, and that you can stand alone when necessary. Asterisk, asterisk, test 7. The attack that tested your faith and authority, asterisk, asterisk. The seventh disguise test came through spiritual attack warfare that seemed relentless. Demonic interference that was obvious, opposition that felt targeted and personal. You faced nightmares, oppression, interference in multiple areas, and attacks that seemed designed to make you quit. God was testing whether you'd cower under attack or fight with faith. Would you recognize your authority? Would you stand firm? Would you maintain your confession of faith even when hell unleashed its worst? You passed this test when you stood firm instead of retreating, used your spiritual authority instead of being victimized, maintained your faith despite the intensity of warfare, refused to be intimidated by demonic activity, kept declaring victory even when circumstances suggested defeat. This test proved that you're a warrior, not just a believer, and that you can handle assignments that will require you to engage in intense spiritual warfare. These 7 tests: love under provocation, trust in financial pressure, forgiveness through betrayal, integrity when tempted, patience in delay, dependence in isolation, and authority under attack. You passed them all, and each passing grade qualifies you for specific rewards and responsibilities in your next season. Now that you understand the 7 tests you passed, let me reveal what each passing grade has qualified you for. These aren't just gold stars on a report card, these are actual unlocked privileges, assignments, and spiritual promotions that become available because you proved yourself faithful. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test 1 qualified you for leadership over difficult people, asterisk, asterisk, because you passed the test of loving difficult people. You're now qualified to lead, manage, and minister to people who are hard to handle. God can now trust you with ministry positions, leadership roles, or assignments that involve working with challenging personalities. You won't abuse your authority, you won't give up on difficult people, and you won't respond in the flesh when provoked. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test qualified you for supernatural financial increase, asterisk, asterisk, because you passed the test of trusting God financially and continuing to give in lack. You're now qualified for supernatural financial increase. God can now release abundance into your hands because you proved you won't worship money. You won't become stingy when blessed, and you'll continue to be generous even in overflow. Financial doors that were closed are now opening because you demonstrated faithful stewardship. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test 3 qualified you for deeper relationships and authentic community, asterisk, asterisk, because you passed the test of forgiveness after betrayal. You're now qualified for deeper, more authentic relationships. God is going to bring people into your life who are loyal, genuine, and assigned to your destiny. You've proven you won't hold grudges. You won't let past hurts poison future relationships. And you can extend grace even when it's hard. The painful relationships had to go so better ones could come. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test for qualified you. 4. Greater authority and influence, asterisk, asterisk. Because you passed the test of maintaining integrity when compromise was available. You're now qualified for greater authority and influence. God can trust you with platforms, positions, and power because you proved you won't abuse them. You've demonstrated that you'll do right even when no one's watching, which means you can be trusted with public influence without becoming corrupt. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test 5 qualified you for long-term assignments that require endurance, asterisk, asterisk. Because you passed the test of patience during delay. You're now qualified for long-term assignments that require sustained faithfulness. God can give you vision for things that take years to build because you proved you won't quit when results aren't immediate. You've developed the endurance necessary for marathon missions, not just sprint assignments. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test 6 qualified you for direct access to God's presence, asterisk, asterisk, because you passed the test of maintaining relationship with God in isolation. You're now qualified for deeper intimacy and direct access to God's presence. You've proven your relationship with Him isn't dependent on crowds, excitement, or other people's affirmation. You seek Him for who He is, not just for what He gives. This qualifies you for private revelations, divine strategies, and intimate encounters that aren't available to everyone. Asterisk, asterisk, passing test 7 qualified you for frontline spiritual warfare assignments, asterisk, asterisk, because you passed the test of standing firm under spiritual attack. You're now qualified for frontline warfare assignments. God can deploy you into territories that require someone who won't be intimidated by demons, who knows their authority, and who will stand when others retreat. You're being positioned as a spiritual warrior who can handle intense combat. These qualifications aren't just titles, they're actual permissions, clearances, and assignments being released from heaven right now. You've earned them through your faithfulness in testing, and they're about to manifest in practical, tangible ways in your life. Now let me explain why God had to test you in disguise, rather than announcing the tests in advance. Understanding this will help you recognize future testing seasons and respond correctly even when you don't realize you're being evaluated. Asterisk, asterisk, reason 1. Disguised tests reveal your true character, not your best performance, asterisk, asterisk. The first reason God tests in disguise is because announced tests get performed responses, but disguised tests reveal true character. If God told you in advance that He was testing your patience, you'd put on your patience mask and endure it as a performance. But when the test comes disguised as an annoying person who just happens to be in your life, your authentic response reveals who you really are. When you're not trying to impress anyone, God isn't interested in your ability to perform righteousness for an audience. He wants to know what you're like when no one's grading you, when you think it's just another Tuesday, when you don't realize your response matters. The disguise strips away religious performance and exposes authentic character. Asterisk, asterisk, reason 2. Disguised tests prepare you for real life. Ministry, asterisk, asterisk. The second reason is that real ministry doesn't come with labels and warnings. When you step into your calling, difficult people won't announce themselves as tests. Financial pressure won't come with a note saying this is divine evaluation. Betrayals won't have tags that say, God allowed this to develop your character. Life comes at you disguised as normal circumstances, and you have to navigate it with wisdom, character, and faith by testing you in disguise. God is preparing you for the reality of ministry and leadership, where challenges look like problems but are actually opportunities to demonstrate Christ-like character. Reason 3. Disguised tests build automatic responses. The third reason is that disguised tests develop automatic righteousness, responses that don't require conscious thought because they've become your default. When you don't know you're being tested, but you respond correctly anyway, it proves that godly character has become your nature, not just your choice. God is developing in you automatic forgiveness, automatic integrity, automatic faith, and automatic love. When these responses become your default, you're ready for high-pressure assignments, where you won't have time to deliberate about what the right response is. You'll just respond correctly because it's who you've become. Reason 4. Disguised tests prevent pride. The fourth reason is that disguised tests prevent pride. If you knew you were passing every test, you might become arrogant about your spiritual maturity. But because the tests were disguised, you didn't know how well you were doing. You just kept choosing faithfulness, kept responding in character, kept trusting God. And now that the evaluation is complete, you can't take credit. You can only thank God for the grace that helped you pass. The disguise kept you humble throughout the process and ensures that when you receive your promotion, you'll give God the glory instead of congratulating yourself. Reason 5. Disguised tests train you to recognize spiritual dynamics. The fifth and final reason is that disguised tests train you to recognize spiritual dynamics beneath natural circumstances. Now that you know the last 3 months were divine testing, you're developing the discernment to recognize when future challenges are actually evaluations. You're learning to see with spiritual eyes, to perceive God's hand in ordinary circumstances, and to respond to life with the awareness that everything has spiritual significance. This developed discernment makes you effective in ministry, wise in leadership, and strategic in spiritual warfare because you see what others miss. The disguise wasn't deception, it was divine strategy. And now that you've passed these disguised tests, you're more mature, more qualified, and more prepared for what God is about to release into your life. We've reached the final and most exciting section of this message. What's being released now that you've proven yourself faithful? The testing is complete. The evaluation is finished. The results are in. And now, heaven is releasing rewards, assignments, and breakthroughs that were being held until you demonstrated you were ready for them. Release 1. Immediate breakthrough in stuck areas. The first thing being released is immediate breakthrough in areas where you've been stuck. Those situations that wouldn't move, those doors that wouldn't open, those provisions that were delayed, they're being released right now. The testing was the final barrier, and now that it's passed, the breakthrough can manifest without hindrance. Within the next 30 days, you're going to see movement in situations that have been stagnant for months or even years. What you've been praying about, believing for, and waiting on is about to manifest because you've proven you can handle it with maturity and faithfulness. Release 2. Divine connections with destiny helpers. The second thing being released is divine connections, people who are assigned to help you, mentor you, promote you, and partner with you in your calling. These aren't random relationships. These are divinely orchestrated connections with individuals who carry what you need for your next level. You're about to meet people who will recognize your calling, celebrate your gifts, and open doors you couldn't open yourself. These destiny helpers are being released now because you've proven you won't misuse relationships. You'll honor those who help you, and you're mature enough to steward powerful connections. ***, Release 3. Increased spiritual authority and supernatural power, ***. The third thing being released is increased spiritual authority and supernatural power. Your prayers are about to carry more weight. Your declarations are about to manifest faster. Your presence is about to shift atmospheres. You're stepping into a new level of authority that comes from proven character. Under testing, you're going to notice that when you pray for people, things happen. When you speak to situations, they shift. When you take authority in spiritual warfare, demons flee. This isn't performance, it's the natural result of tested and proven faithfulness. ***, Release for financial favor and unexpected provision, ***. The fourth thing being released is financial favor and unexpected provision. Money is about to flow from sources you didn't anticipate. Opportunities that generate income are about to present themselves. Divine ideas that create wealth are about to download into your spirit. God is releasing supernatural provision because you proved you can be trusted with abundance. This financial release isn't just to meet your needs, it's to position you as a distribution center of blessing, able to fund kingdom assignments and help others the way you've always wanted to but couldn't. ***, Release 5. Clarity about your specific assignment, ***. The fifth thing being released is crystal clear clarity about your specific assignment and calling. The fog is lifting. The confusion is ending. You're about to understand exactly what God has called you to do, who you're called to serve, and how you're supposed to steward your gifts. This clarity comes because you've proven you'll obey even when you don't fully understand. Now that God knows He can trust you with partial information, He's releasing the full picture. ***, Release 6. Promotion in your career or ministry, ***. The sixth thing being released is promotion, whether in your career, your ministry, or your sphere of influence. You're about to be elevated to positions you weren't in before, given opportunities you didn't have access to, entrusted with responsibilities that require the exact character you just demonstrated during testing. This promotion isn't based on your resume or your natural qualifications, it's based on your proven faithfulness under divine evaluation, and it's coming faster than you expect. ***, Release 7. Your testimony that sets others free, ***. The seventh thing being released is your testimony, the story of what you've been through and how you passed every test. This testimony is going to become a weapon that sets captives free, encourages the weary, and proves that testing isn't meant to destroy but to develop. Your story of passing disguised tests is going to inspire others who are currently in their own testing seasons, and as you share it, you're going to watch people gain strength to endure their own trials. Now, here's what you must do to maximize these releases. First, subscribe to this channel immediately so you stay connected to ongoing teaching, activation, and encouragement for your next season. The testing may be over, but the training continues, and you need consistent spiritual nourishment as you step into new levels after you subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss messages that could contain the next piece of revelation you need. And then share this message with someone else who's in a testing season right now and needs to know that they're being evaluated for promotion, not punishment. Let me speak one final declaration over you. I declare that you've passed every test. I declare that heaven's report on you says approved. I declare that breakthrough is being released right now. I declare that divine connections are being orchestrated. I declare that spiritual authority is increasing. I declare that financial provision is flowing. I declare that clarity is coming. I declare that promotion is manifesting. I declare that your testimony is being written and will set thousands free. You passed every test. Your promotion is here. Your breakthrough is released. And your next season is going to prove that testing was worth it. Subscribe now, and welcome to your season of reward.